Hey guys, welcome back to Monster Hunter World 3rd. It's me, Waltada. Last time, we fought the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, the Nargacuga. And from completing all the key quests and Village 5-star, we unlocked the urgent quest, which is what we'll be tackling today. Urgent is the Duramboros. But what could be stronger and more of a threat to the Misty Peaks than the Zinogre? Well, it's hammer time. It's been hammer time game. I'm afraid you're pretty late on catching up on that. Though there is a reason why this quest is called hammer time, as opposed to any other name. As the Duramboros kind of has a feature that resembles my weapon. Also, I forgot to restock on potions. I'm so prepared for this. Anyway, I believe the cutscene for the Duramboros is in 5, and I believe he also typically starts in 5 in this map anyway. Huh, this guy's vegetarian. It's wood. Interesting. The Duramboros is a non-elemental brute wyvern. He's a very big boy. It doesn't mean he's necessarily slow, though. His tail resembles a hammer. That's why the quest is called Hammer Time, by the way. This guy is weakest to fire, and his breaks are his head, his lovely lady hump on the top of his body, on his back, and his tail. And then you can break his tail off. Definitely recommend going after the humps if you have any chance to, as that is his weak point. Hey, they're already broken. That's cool. His head seems to be a bit armored, which is unfortunate, as my armor has weakness exploit. I really want to exploit this guy's weaknesses. Also, if you're going into this fight, I would also recommend demon drugs, which I didn't bring one, but I definitely recommend it. Also, this guy can jump up in the sky. I'd be very careful where his shadow is, as that will do a lot of damage and it will guarantee stun you. The Duramboros is one of the, if not the only monster in the entire series where you can actually break his tail off with a blunt weapon, which is pretty useful. Watch out, watch out, watch out. That's always scary. I guess I'll take 3 hits to the head. I'd like to break every part of this guy's body. That's always fun. It's so, like, violent sounding, though, but it's true. Oh, he's going to go high. Oh, no, no, get away from me. Oh. Something to know about this guy is that, as I was saying about the demon drug, definitely recommend it. This guy is very bulky. He's probably the bulkiest monster you've fought so far in the game. Definitely be prepared for a long fight. I have a funny relationship with this guy, because this is the first monster in the entire series to almost time me out. In 3 Ultimate, which was my second Monster Hunter game, the first quest I had against this guy took me nearly 50 minutes. Also, when he does his helicopter motion, he can do that whole leap into the air thing. This guy's literally a helicopter. Also, if you crack his tail, run to it and mine it. You'll want it. There's only one time you can mine it anyway. I definitely recommend mining it before you break the tail casing off. Like that. So, if you don't mine it, you'll lose the free item, and you can only carve the tail case once. It'd be nice if you got 2 tail carves if you didn't mine it beforehand, but game developers didn't want to overcomplicate their jobs, I suppose. Which makes sense, really. Since he's tired, he may stumble out of this. Yeah, he will. Okay. The reason why I said may is because I thought he was tired the last time he did it, but he decided to actually show off his moves. Something to know about the whole helicopter move is that not every time he'll go into the sky. Sometimes he'll just like kind of toss himself at you instead, which is actually far more dangerous as that's a bit harder to avoid, but it does less damage, thankfully. It's a trade-off for the faster attack, since faster attacks for monsters tend to do less damage. Of course, his head is a bit of a pain to break off. Since it's armored, it takes less damage, so I guess it makes sense why his horns would be hard to break, but... Please break, man. What you gonna do? I missed! How did that miss? Alright, when he starts with the helicopter move, you can also go underneath him and hit him, which I actually recommend doing because it can trip him up, so you can get even more damage. Without knowing that this fight will go on for a lot longer, because he can do a lot of damage to his humps if you trip him, so... Any chance you do get to trip him, I highly, highly recommend doing so. Oh, what? He has that move? What? I'd never see him do it. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that from him. So I associate that move with a different monster that we'll see later on. So I was like, wait, what? Oh? Oh, is he gonna do it again? Pound his feet in. Of course, if you can't trip him, it's a bit scary because you're right underneath them, so maybe a bit risky, but there's a good probability that you will trip him, so I still recommend taking it every time. There goes his head. I'm not 100% sure. I'm thinking his head isn't armored anymore once you break his horns. I think it's the horns that gave him the armor. Kind of like Urgan's chin, I'm wondering. I don't know that, because I don't really fight this guy that often. There's no reason to fight him. Really, I don't really like his weapons, as they're non-elemental weapons for one thing, and there are better raw weapons out there like Nargacugas. Because, I don't know, it's just like raw weapon number 5 with this guy. Oh no, he's gonna do the thing. Oh no. Get away from me. Oof. Yeah, it's no longer armored. I don't think it's a weak point, but it's no longer armored at least, so it's hittable. And unfortunately, his lump is in. His lump. Humps, not lumps. I mean, maybe cancer's killing him. As Superman dived thinking he was just gonna roar there, but he only did like a fake roar. It's so weird that certain monsters just like do that fake roar thing. where they do the whole roaring animation, but they don't make enough noise to actually like stun you. It's like, oh, I could have done damage to him instead of jumping at nothing. Also, I'm gonna get these shinies if I still can. So I might need this stuff for whatever reason. Even though I'm not gonna make any of his weapons or armor, you know. Oh, that's the attack where he throws himself at you. Please don't hit me. Thanks, Daddy. Be a good little helicopter. Honestly, out of all the monsters in low rank, I think this one's the one I fear the most. Outside Zenogre, I think, and another one. Just because this one is... Never mind! I was about to say this one's likely to time me out when I solo the online portion of the game. But I don't have anything to fear, because he's already limping. Maybe I just really sucked against him when I first fought him. That's why it took me almost 50 minutes. Though to be fair, this guy does have a very different moveset, and I didn't know the whole tripping technique, which is very vital to doing massive damage to this guy. And I think in that game I was using dual blades too, which was not my strongest weapon. I don't know what he's doing. Another thing to fight in this fight, the camera, because he's so big. All over Brura. Gotta do that massive damage to your humps. I hope I don't trigger the Bullfango, because I don't like being knocked over for no reason. Oh, don't have to worry about that anymore, as he is dead. Hurrah. So something I forgot to mention with the Urgan is that some large monsters you get like more than 3 carves. Typically the larger monsters give you more than 3 carves. Urgan was one of them, and Duramboros is another one. You get 4 carves from both of them. So don't forget to get your 4th carve. It's definitely important. It's been a really long time since we've been to this map, I'm just realizing. Wow. Never come here anymore. Oh well. Unfortunately, this map doesn't have any good ore, so I'm just like, I'm forced to get honey. Oh no. The thing that I actually need. You know, I haven't really used that many honey-related items yet. But don't worry, that time will come. Real soon, I'm sure, actually. Got 20 bone husks. Great. Just the reward I wanted from a large monster. It's not useless, though. It's just, you can buy those from a store. It's like, why? Why give them to me? Like, I understand that gunners need stuff to make their ammo, but, like, they can buy it. Just like a lot of them buy their ammo anyway. I'm sure we have a lot of people to talk to since we killed the Duramboros. Actually, it's a lot less than usual. Job! Here's some armor sphere pluses, I believe. Yeah. It's a bit late on that one since you can mine them in the volcano since 4-star village. But you know, it's whatever. I say congrats on being Duramboros. Oh, now she tells us to look into the hot spring quests. I highly recommend doing that way before now, but if you haven't, definitely do them. They help out a lot. So now I have unlocked the final rank in village, 6-star, which has a few nasty boys in it, and a couple of repeats. So that'll be the next objective. Now I'm wondering, since every urgent we've beaten in the village means we get a new Hot Spring Quest. I wonder which one this one is. They really give you a Nibble Snarf quest. This late, he's a 4-star village monster and you unlock him after, like, once you reach 6-star? What? Capcom, please. Why you no work on sensible, like, game flow or something? I don't know what the word is. I'm like, what? So Nibble Snarf is after Duramboros, just like Great Roggy is after Zinogre. I guess next time on Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, we have a Nibble Snarf to hunt again. So I'll see you guys then. Well, I thought I was over this, however I forgot to cover the Duramboros armor set. Good job, Walt. Good job. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever change my ways. Anyway, where is it? There's the Duramboros armor. What does it look like? Looks like a green armor. Nice. Nice estimation. Alright, so the Duramboros armor gives you attack up. I mean, you know, I'm a fan of that skill. Instead of attack up, it also gives you potential, which is a risky skill to use. If you're going to go for it, I recommend going for Adrenaline +2 instead of +1, as that will increase your attack when you're low on health instead of just defense. It's a very risky skill, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And if you're planning on using it with multiplayer, please do not. I still have nightmare flashbacks of fighting an in-game Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and one of the members in the party was using Adrenaline +2, and actually complained about people healing him with life powders. Like, he didn't even mention that he was trying to do that, but even then, it's like, it's risky. I don't recommend doing it online if you do want to use the skill to its fullest potential. Heh. That's unintended, but it's just not something I'd go for. As for the other skill, Destroyer, which is actually pretty useful. What Destroyer does is it allows you to break parts faster. So if you're aiming very hard to get part on a monster, which there are a few, or if you're struggling to break off it or cut off a tail off of a monster like Narkuga or something that jumps around all the time, you can get Part Breaker and you'll be spending only 10 minutes trying to cut the tail off instead of 15 or something like that. The downside to this armor is that you will crit less often. It will decrease your affinity, which is pretty bad. So I definitely recommend gemming that out if you can. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was. It's something to consider. I personally prefer Weakness Exploit over Part Breaker, but that's just my personal preference. So actually the Duramboros armor isn't that bad. So if you're not running any good low rank set yet, definitely pick up the Duramboros armor. It's maybe worth your while. However, I will actually end things off here. So next time we will fight that Nibble Snarf, and I will see you guys then.